Hello everyone, welcome back to Jurassic World Evolution. Today's video is a new kind of video that I've been thinking about making for a while. This is basically a blueprint of sorts that I've made in Sandbox, but it's made with the intention to be a helpful park layout for a Jurassic Difficulty Challenge Mode playthrough. So what I've basically done here is I'm on the Tacano Research Facility island, and it's the Jurassic Park era, and I've built what I would basically want my 5-star Jurassic Difficulty Challenge Mode map to look like. So I've taken a lot of challenge mode things into consideration when laying out this park. Tacano Research Facility is classified as a small island, which is the same as Isla Pena. So I actually pretty much recreated mostly the same exhibits that I had on my Jurassic Difficulty Isla Pena island. So basically the idea here is that maybe you can get some inspiration, or honestly, you could probably just copy what I have here and have a pretty successful challenge mode map. So without further ado, let's get into the details. I'm going to start with the facilities, and then we're going to get into the fences and the enclosures and the dinosaurs themselves. So first off, as you can see here, I put the visitor center pretty much smack dab in the middle of the island. And then we're going to just focus on this inner area for right now. As you can see, let me use the highlighter little thing here. I built one full length of path out on each side, on the left and the right. And then I went 90 degrees in the upward direction. That's 2 full lengths of path up on each end. And they meet up right about here, which is where I put my tour vehicle station. Then I also went, I believe this is another 2 lengths of path straight this way, and these are all 90-degree angles, so the pathing will snap in place for you, which is really nice. It makes it easy to recreate. And I did that on this side as well. Once you get to this part, I actually kind of color-coded the pathing if I was able to get direct snapping in place. So this one here, I just had to kind of try to make as straight as possible to connect these two here. Alright, so now that we have that is basically kind of the foundation laid down. As you can see, you have lots of room for your facilities and your buildings, but the first thing you're going to put down is your helipad, which I've placed right here. It fits really nicely in this section right here because it's more of a elongated building, so it fits really well right here. The next thing you're going to want to put down is your park tour, which is right here at the very front. And from there, I'm going to get into the fences in just a little bit, but basically all of the fencing is kind of stationed around where this park tour is initially put down. So anyway, as you can see, let's kind of look at the facility buildings next, and then we'll look over the park itself. In this top half, I have 5 hotels, and there's easily room for a 6th one right here if I needed it. And I think I have 3 of each, 3 cafes and 3 gift shops right here in this center area. 2 restrooms, one right here and one right there. 2 shelters or bunkers or whatever you want to call them. And then we've also got our storm defense station. I put it right behind the main entrance, or the visitor center, I should say. And this covers pretty much everything, not quite everything, but most of the important buildings have some level of protection. Down here we have our 2 power stations. They fit really nicely in this area right here. And I've upgraded almost all of my buildings, and I still have plenty of power left over. So you can see here, unused power is 54, and I have pretty much all of my buildings fully upgraded. And so that's pretty much all the buildings you're really going to need. If I recall, on my Isla Pena island I had 4 hotels, and this layout has plenty of room for 6. So I just went with 5. Also, as you can see, the substations just kind of form a neat little ring around the island, and everything has power. So a lot of this is just trying to keep things as simple as possible for you as you're building your park, and it's easy to navigate and everything. Remember, on Jurassic Difficulty, the simpler and more streamlined things are, typically the better. Alright, so I haven't talked about the hatcheries yet because I'm going to discuss those when I get to the fencing. So let's talk about the fences next. So you want to put this park tour down first, and then as you can see, I went one full length of path straight to the right and one full length of path to the left. And if we zoom out here and you look at this middle ring I've built around the park, you can see that they're pretty much exactly mirrored on each side, and that's because they are. That's intentional. As you can see here, I utilize the 45-degree snapping feature in the fences. Let me quickly show you what I mean by that if you haven't seen it before. This is actually like my 3rd time trying to record this video because my computer's been crashing for some reason. But let me just show you what the 45-degree snapping feature is. So you build a fence, and then normally it snaps 90 degrees from there, or you can keep going straight. Well, let's say I want to do a 45-degree angle instead. So I build a little more fence, and then I use the 90 degrees going down, and now it will snap in place perfectly at 45 degrees for me. So I can build this, and I can get rid of these other 2 extra fences, and now I have a 45-degree angle. So that's what I mean by that. So anyway, I had a 45-degree angle here, and then I believe this is 3 full lengths of fencing, followed by another 45-degree angle, and this is 2 lengths of fencing from here to here. This is also where I chose to put the hatcheries on each side. As you can see right here, they mirror each other. And that is specifically because the way that this island is built, you do not have to tranquilize and move any dinosaurs. The hatcheries open into every single exhibit on the island, which is really nice to have for convenience. But back to the fencing, here is another 45-degree angle, followed by 2 full lengths of path. And then at this point, you just need to do one more 45-degree angle, and if you go straight across, I believe this is about 4 full lengths of fencing or so, you should meet right together right about here if you're repeating on each end. So you end up with this really neat symmetrical ring. The sides aren't exactly perfect, but this island's a little small, so I had to... this top area is a little bigger than the bottom area, but overall, this is the main structure that kind of defines what everything else looks like with this island build, and honestly, you can copy and paste this exact thing that I have right here onto pretty much every Jurassic Park era challenge mode map. The only one it won't really work on is probably Isla Pena, because it's so small and narrow, and maybe the regular Isla Tacano. I don't know if there's enough room to fit this big ring in there. So anyway, now that we have the ring and the facilities out of the way, let's start talking about the dinosaur exhibits themselves. So we're going to go into our first exhibit right here. This is probably the biggest one on the island. So Exhibit 1 has 5 Brachiosaurus, 7 Apatosaurus, 4 Mamenchisaurus, and 6 Parasaurolophus, for a total of 21 dinosaurs, which is Parasaurolophus's population maximum. By the way, all these dinosaurs, when we get to the dino score later, all these are 100% genome with their default skin patterns. So there's no like extra points hidden in here. It's just the default 100% genome dinosaurs. But this exhibit has to be pretty big. Mamenchisaurus needs a lot of forest. I actually think Brachiosaurus is a little more tolerant compared to Mamenchisaurus now. And then Apatosaurus doesn't need that much either. Apatosaurus is pretty easy. Alright, so our next enclosure down here, we have 4 Triceratops, 4 Euoplocephalus, 2 Corythosaurus, 4 Styracosaurus, for a total of 14 dinosaurs, which is the population maximum for Styracosaurus. You can see right here, their population bar is maximized. I actually wanted to have Corythosaurus in here, but Parasaurolophus has a goofy social count where they need at least 4 friends nearby, or else they get stressed, so I put 6 of them in here so that there's almost a guarantee that there will be enough Parasaurolophus at a time, and I just put the 2 Corythosaurus down here in this exhibit. Moving on, we have this kind of no man's land here. There's actually quite a bit of room. You could easily probably fit in a smaller enclosure, maybe a Herrerasaurus paddock or something like that. There's definitely room here, but I just kind of left it open. Alright, our third enclosure has 3 Ankylosaurus and 5 Pachycephalosaurus for a total of 8 dinosaurs, which is the population maximum on Ankylosaurus. For some reason, the bar isn't at 8, even though there's definitely 8 dinosaurs in here. I'm kind of confused by that. I've recounted like 4 times, and for some reason the population bar is not full on Ankylosaurus. You can clearly say ideal population is 8, so I'm not really sure what's going on there, but... Alright, and then this is our second largest enclosure over here, which has 5 Brachiosaurus, 7 Apatosaurus, 3 Ceratosaurus, and 5 of the Compies, for a total of 20 dinosaurs. 20 is the population maximum on Ceratosaurus. So basically I'm just bringing that up to show that we're maximizing the population on all of these exhibits. And our last enclosure has 7 Stegosaurus, 4 Gallimimus, and 4 Dryosaurus, for a total of 15 dinosaurs. 15 is the population max on Stegosaurus, as you can see right here. I wanted to make sure to have at least 7 of them, because if you only have 5 and one of them dies from old age, the other living ones will immediately become stressed because there's not enough other Stegosaurus in the paddock. And that is every enclosure on the island. That is a total of 15 unique species, in case you were wondering. I believe on a small island in Jurassic Park era challenge mode, they want 18 unique species, but we have so many sauropods that our dinosaur score rating is just going to be really high, and we don't really need to worry about that anyway. So that is pretty much it. This is how I would make my Jurassic Park Jurassic Difficulty Challenge Mode map for the Tacano Research Facility. My favorite part about this is that the hatcheries open into every enclosure, so you really don't have to worry about tranquilizing and moving anything. Also, as you can see, I forgot to mention this earlier, I have a ranger station right next to both hatcheries. So basically, these 2 rangers can take care of this half of the island, and these 2 rangers can take care of this half of the island. So we should be in really good shape for if diseases break out. There was one more thing I wanted to mention, and that is, obviously when you're doing challenge mode, you don't get to start with all of these tools at your disposal, so how would you go about starting off your challenge mode island? Well, first of all, this all in here, you can just build this path layout and just kind of keep it as a framework right to start with, and then slowly add in your fencing and your buildings as time goes on. What I would recommend doing is, so put down your visitor center and your helipad and your one power station, get the, I kind of call it the arrowhead path layout set down here, and put down your Jurassic tour, and then I'd start with, you can, either one is fine, but I'd have my one hatchery built right here, because so that would involve building this fencing out to this point here, and then I'd have this one paddock here. This would be my starter paddock, and this would be where I just put all my starter dinosaurs, and as I unlocked more and more dinosaurs, I would kind of break them up a little bit. If I need to tranquilize them and move them, that's fine. And then about the halfway mark would be when I'd start fleshing out this half of the island. But you can, you can build the park tour around the whole island, and then or if you wanted to, you could just have it kind of be a shorter tour and then expand it as your park grows. But basically, I would start off with this enclosure here and this hatchery as my, like, let's get started on the challenge mode part of the game. In case you're wondering, with these current dinosaurs, I have a dinosaur rating of 6,023. I don't have a species penalty. If it was Jurassic Challenge, there would be some level of penalty, but it would still be enough to beat the dinosaur target rating. On Isla Pena, the dino target rating for 5 stars was 5,400. So if we have 15 out of 18 unique species, there's no way that we're going to be penalized by that much. And like I said too, on Isla Pena, I'm pretty sure I only needed 4 hotels. This layout gives you room for 6 hotels. So you have room left over, actually. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this new kind of blueprint style video. Let me know what you thought about it. I kind of like that I get to build a park that with challenge mode in mind, but it also doesn't take me 9 hours of gameplay to show you guys, and I can also kind of take some time to make the park a little bit nicer because I'm not under the gun of building during a challenge mode scenario. I also recommend that you all give this a try for yourself if you're thinking of doing a Jurassic Difficulty playthrough. It's really fun to just kind of build the park in advance and then kind of replicate it as you're playing. So anyway, thank you all very much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.